simple. So manipulate files, stuff, change your sequences, tools. Kind of one of the principles of the pixel editor is that it's got its own previewer, separate from the visualizer, separate from the animator. So now, something we have to resolve in a future version of future LOR release. But for what you'll see come out of the gate is, well, there will be three visualizers, the visualizer, the old animator, and the previewer that's in the pixel editor.
And CCR. And Superstar.
Yeah. That's a good name for preview. I haven't known what to call them. You can't call it the visualization.
Yeah.
The visualizer.
Yeah. So, and kind of the basis is you're going to associate your LOR sequences with a preview, but a preview can be shared across multiple sequences. So you create your preview, and then as you open sequences, it'll say which preview do you want this to. You say my 2015 Christmas show, right? And you only have to do it once. There's no importing or anything like that. I've done a lot of testing, so I have a bunch of previews here. So this is kind of what I'm anticipating. I decorate me and my neighbor's yard, so that's why you see two houses there. But this is more or less what my 2015 show will look like. You can drag things around here, resize them. Right, if you want to add, you want to modify the parameters of something. One thing that's a little different from X-Slice is in X-Slice you define all of your, you have that setup screen where you define all of your controllers up front. In Pixel Editor, that's done on a prop by prop basis. So this one is just using well, this is this is just RGB nodes, but it's 54 nodes, and so it's on Universe 9, whatever channels, right? So we've got a number of different things similar to predefined types of props you can create, similar to X-Lights, right? So
do you support anything within the custom?
So yeah, there's this custom tab here, so it's yeah, it just works the same way. Okay, so just organize it a little differently. Okay. One other thing I've added is it does have a dimming curve for RGB lights. So I didn't think it'd be any big deal. And this is something I added in the last couple of weeks. And I was really shocked. It makes a big difference on what you're displaying, and it gives you a nice linear intensity across Right now, there's just one curve. Maybe that's part of the feedback we get that, hey, it doesn't look so good on particular kind of lights. But so far, from what I've seen on 2011, 1804 type lights, it works really well.
What I saw in X lights, I don't know if you've addressed this, but if you dim it, it's also applied to the visualizer.
No, this
So the
is
visualizer gets too dim to be able to use.
no. This is the visualizer uses the standard, and only what goes out to the lights gets the dimming curve.
You mean your preview?
The preview here, if you
Preview is 100%. The output to the lights is
it has the curve. If you use the LOR visualizer, the visualizer will have the same problem that Next Lens has.
The whole goal with this dimming curve is to get the lights to look the same as the preview.
Yes, exactly. And as long as you're within the pixel editor world here, you're okay. If you go back to the LOR visualizer, it'll have that problem where stuff will be too dim because it's getting the stuff with the dimming curve applied. So, tree. One nice thing is it kind of gives you a quick showing of how the we're calling them folds here instead of strands. So if you've got things folded, it gives you the view of how that actually should look real time as you're entering it, instead of having to go and look at the screen that shows you the whole layout of the lights. So you get it immediate feedback.
Matt, is this going to be a separate license that you pay for, or will it be part of the same license as the regular Light-O-Rama? Like,
I can't
don't know.
answer that.
Okay.
I know the answer,
Oh,
but I
okay.
can't.
First one.
There were certain things that I was told I couldn't say, and that was licensing and dates, or I can't talk about.
What about licensing today for those of us that don't know? I mean, as it sits today, one of the things I've heard, please, I just heard about Superstars, it's kind of expensive on a per unit.
It's the blue, so you get a visual of where you've laid out your.
Can you flip your tree, and does it show blue when it's not flipped?
Yes. So
Yeah, I see it there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
That's visual for when you're trying to lay it all out.
yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah.
Why isn't my string going in the right direction?
Exactly.
This never happened.
Another thing is you can group things together, and there are this X-Lights kind of recently grouping, but it can also do a grouping where, for example, I have my eaves up here. They're all RGB. Even though they're separate segments, I want to run, do whatever effect across all of those. Well, the way, so behind the scenes here, whenever you do effect, you're doing a 2D effect, right? So it's got a grid behind the scenes and it's calculating So it has, we can create a new group here and say the use preview is kind of the whole house model, X-Light's whole house model way of doing things. So it uses the preview, figures out where everything is in relation to one another, and creates a group based on where things are in the preview. Horizontal and vertical stacks are meant for where you've got elements that are the same size, or so they have a dimension that's the same, and you want to apply an effect, and it will apply that effect across those. So another good one is I've got little arches, but I can apply, I've got a group of all these arches, are all 17 of the arches. I can apply an effect to all of those, and it's all together. And it,
When you say apply to all of them, do you mean they all do the same thing, or that it sweeps across them all?
it would sweep across them all. So if I treated them, to apply the same effect to all of them, I just treat them individually and put the same effect to all 17.
Probably solve the answer to this already, but can an element be a member of multiple groups?
Yes, absolutely. So, like I have a group that's all the RGB elements on here, and then I have a group for my roof line and a group for all of the hoops, and I have arches, and then one for the right set, and one for the left, so.
So is all of that RGB, or is any of it just plain LED streams?
I have the wreath is playing our LED strings. These Bethlehem stars are actually incandescent. These wreaths are also plain LEDs, two color. But otherwise, everything else now is for 2015 is converted to RGB. So it's kind of so that's the preview. So but so this is very short. This is a 10-second sequence, but you see the audio. In this one, this is going against the preview I just showed you. It's going through to a much simpler preview that just has, these are two regular RGB props, and then a horizontal stack and a hole, and then both of them together. So let me, you can get to the preview from here. So this is what where I do all my programming. This is what I have set up. This is my regular RGB tree, except it's not in tree form when I have it inside, and then I have a matrix also set up. This is SAN devices, and this is off of an ether dongle. And let me just show you. This is just testing. I don't have the things. So, right here. So you can come in here. If I double click on a cell, it brings up a panel where I can And just like on X-Lights training, you have a left and a right, and then you can tell it how you want those mixed. One thing I did to simplify, in X-Lights you had a left hides right and right hides left, and this list is quite long in X-Lights. And I just did one of each of those in here, and if it's doing the opposite of what you want, you click this key and it swaps left and right. So, anyway, so here's, this is using the horizontal stack. If I do, all this is the using it as preview, so this is the equivalent of a whole house model, right? So you can see that everything lines up. And you can just apply it to one or the other if you want.
So what was the difference between the stack and the ball?
So let me, I can demonstrate that easily. There's a mode here where you can just open the generator, the effect generator, and it doesn't get saved to any sequence, but it allows you to see, you know, hey, I want this on a tree or whatever. So let's see. So I have trees, you know. Let's go back to the bar effect. Okay, so this is actually the top of my tree. I'm modeling as a fan. Actually, we have a fan model in pixel editor. So this is just a four-string model that's a four-string fan. But you'll see here that as this goes out, this is rounded. So these are going out equally against each string as the bars go up. So this is the this is a stack. So if I go to tree 1, I have it modeled as preview. So now you see that they're flat. If I slow it down.
Yeah.
And that's because it's going as it's laid out on the screen. Whereas before it was going by pixel, however it happens to be.
So if you had a horizontal stack of half mega trees, you could scroll text across multiple trees like they were a single element.
Yes. So I just want to show you. So similarly, my roof line. This is modeled as a stack right now, and notice if I do an up, nothing. It just goes because they're all together.
Right.
If I had this model using that as preview, then you'd see it go up the. So it makes a big difference prints on eaves, for example. So, anyway, so you have your choice of how you want that model. So, of course,
So when they're stacked, does each element in the stack act like a pixel, or?
so each element, yeah, acts like, so it matches them. So in this case, I've said this is a horizontal stack.
Yeah.
So it's matching the model for each of those four pieces that and lining them up horizontally.
Okay.
And, so it treats it, yeah, it's treated as one long horizontal, or if I do the arches, right, these are
Okay.
all modeled together, but they're modeled as when it's internally, it's seeing that as just one long string. So,
If you want to add these to a sequence, how do you do it?
okay, let me show, before we leave here, let me show one more thing. So for people seeing the whole house model in the next slide, so you can do the same thing here, right? So it looks really cool with something like spirals.
Wow.
Doing the
And
whole
that is all the way down the street. Of course, like it's 747 on the lane.
Yeah. So anyway, have your grid here. You can use your keyboard. This happens to be a free-form grid. If you have multiple timing models, you can, or timing grids, you can pick which timing grid you're looking at from here. The idea is there's several ways to get an effect onto the, one of the, before I show you all this, the other thing is you'll notice that for each prop there's actually two rows. So the idea here is that you, let's put an effect in here, and I've selected that. Now if I double click, so now I've got, I'll just use that effect, right? And so now you'll see here under the effect it says spirals, whatever. So now, what's the shortcut key for in LOR for turning a cell on? Okay. Oh, John, you know.
You click with the mouse.
N for on, right? So now I can just do on, right? Or D. So now this is all the same effect, and I'm just applying it to all these cells.
Did you have to do a copy first, or?
No, it's just because this kind of acts as your clipboard up here.
I see.
So it's applying whatever effect is listed here.
D is a fade down.
D is fade down, or if I did up, do that.
So it'll do that effect and just fade it out.
Do do
Nice,
that effect,
nice.
fade it out. Now, if I wanted to do a different effect down, turn on a different effect, let's go back to butterfly, the standard butterfly effect. So now that's on, but now let's fade that up and turn it on over here. So now
Show us.
and I can, if I double click, right, so it makes it very easy to transition effects. It's very straight, and you've got a visual there of what you're doing. So, anyway.
You gonna do effects like star wipes and stuff like that for transitions?
What's that?
You gonna do star wipe and that sort of thing for transitions?
Not initially. I mean, the transitions now will be, you know, you can do your fade up and fade down here. So, it's,
So I've seen, I mean, you have 3 previews up, screens up there.
yes.
There's, it almost looks like a left, right, center.
So they operate, there's two, okay, so to explain this, so when you're doing, when you're designing your effect that you're going to paste in, this is your left, this is your right, this is your mixed, right? So, we fire over here, and now we mix in some fire. To
Okay. That makes sense.
Wow.
Okay, so this also has average kind of dims out the two. You do a mix maximum, then you get the brightest of both. It's kind of, I kind of like. So, or you can do the overlay. So, so now that's saved on this effect. So I've changed the lower half effect. So now when I go to play back, keep in mind this top row here is the combination, is a result of using this effect button, which is essentially 2 effects. And the second row is a combination of 2 effects. So if you want, rather than using this for transitions, you can have as many as 4 effects playing at the same time. And when I play back here, what's on the top row gets played on the left, what's on the bottom half gets played on the right, and the mixed value gets shown in the middle. So,
That's really cool.
so and you have all the, have undo, redo, you have the pace modes that you have in LOR, the regular sequencer The only thing that's different is there's no zoom in and zoom out buttons. To do zoom in and zoom out, it's like an Audacity. You drag across the waveform, and that zooms in, and if you right click, you zoom back out. So,
You're trying to sequence against an existing sequence you've done with incandescent and trying to add RGB elements. How can you compare the timings?
that's a good question. The timings will be the same. Your timing grids here will be whatever timing grids you have in your LMS file. Your let's see, I have a I think my I'll show you. This is a full sequence, so it takes a little longer to load.
At least you actually, please.
Yeah.
So Matt, this
Instead
may
of
be
thinking,
another,
instead of thinking nothing's happened.
this may be another question you can't answer. Are you going to be using X-Lights or Light-O-Rama this year to run your show?
In the middle of, this isn't the sequence. I can show you. In the middle of my shows this year, my Windows compute show computer locked up. I mean, and stuck on boot. Wouldn't go beyond BIOS check. And I had been very interested in the Pi player and had a Pi and already had assembled everything I needed. And I had actually converted all my sequences. All right, so, and you can, this is kind of set up so you can only do one, you kind of have to designate what, based on your prop, is it going to be in the regular sequence editor, is it going to be in the pixel editor, or Superstar? You can't mix. It can't be multiple. It's got to be, you've got to choose one for each prop. Now, you can have different props being done.
Sure. So, but if I build a mega tree,
Uh-huh.
I have to decide which one of your three software
Yes.
packages.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Put that selection.
So, and this could
It can be different in each sequence.
That's what
it could be different on each sequence.
Okay.
So, this could be your, most of the time I would expect this to be your beat tracks and things. So it could be that, but it also could be, okay, I have these certain sets of lights that I want to have RGB tree react, at the same time. So, yeah, I'll do that. So here now you see is the, this isn't really very, okay, so here I have some fades.
Really wish you could have scheduled that better.
Well, it's keeping everyone indoors, and you know what I may be better to do with this kind of weather.
Let me ask it this way: if you're going to be an expert, should I bring my wall?
here's your traditionally sequenced items, and they're shown with a gray background. What you can do, though, is you can select them, and I can paste in here. Now it comes, it'll initially come across as a color wash, but all you do is change it to whatever effect you
Yes,
want.
that'd be really good, it'd be good for converting existing sequences of the RGB stuff. Just
Yeah.
push stuff over.
Okay,
It's
so
really slick.
That's really,
so now it's just a so now yeah, I have a
Yeah, you almost missed it.
yeah. But anyway, yeah.
That's a good feature. That's,
Yeah.
that's a really good.
So you wouldn't have to use Bob O's utility anymore? Change from RGB from LED to RGB?
Sarah. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
the idea.
Yep.
So,
Quick question when you're there.
mhm.
Did you copy more than a single, like, you copied a single, timestamp there? Could you copy the whole line?
Sure.
Yeah.
If, I just hit R to select row.
Okay.
Up.
Is that a shortcut of LOR right now?
There you go. You're done. R, I believe.
Is it? If it is, I haven't known that.
I think there is a select row short.
I usually just select them and hit control in.
Or,
But anyway,
I'll have to play with that.
Yeah.
See.
so anyway, any other questions?
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.